Today's lesson is lesson 2-9. It is pages 146 to 150 in your workbook. All right, we are on example 1, page 146, and this is a lesson where everything comes together. We are going to take your slope and plug it into the equation. We are going to take your y-intercept and plug it into the equation, and we will find the equation of a line. All right, here we go. The middle school student council is organizing a dance and has $500 to pay for a DJ. DJ Dave will charge $200 for a setup fee and the first hour, or $425 for a setup fee and 4 hours. How can the student council determine whether they can afford to have a DJ Dave play for 5 hours? All right, so we started with some data. Look, data. Oh my gosh, look, a representation. They took that data and they plugged it into a graph. 1 hour, $200. 4 hours, $425. So the very first thing that they are going to do is they are going to make a representation. All right. From this, we can find our initial value, our y-intercept, and we can find the rate of change. So I would rather count up from 200 up to 425. From 200 to 425 gives me a rise of 225. And then I would count over from 1 to 4, which gives me a run of 3. If we divide that, we will get 75. We have called that a lot of things. We started off long time ago calling it rate of change. Last year and part of this year, you called it constant of proportionality. This year, it's slope, and wait for it, it has a letter. It's the letter M. Yeah, it's probably Latin. All right, so we have the slope. I can also figure out my y-intercept. It's where my graph crosses the y-axis. It is crossing. It's a little hard to see, but I'm going to estimate it's about 125. It looks like it's between 100 and 150. I'm going to shoot for 125. It's a little hard for me to see that. And this is my y-intercept. And it also has another name. It is called B. All right, now their step 2 and my step 2 are just a little different. Let me tell you the most famous equation, maybe in the world, I don't know, I'm making that up. Y equals mx plus b is the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. This is your slope. This is your y-intercept. So if I take my information from the last slide, my slope was 75, which makes sense because that's the over and over and over number. And if you remember back, anything that happens repeatedly gets the x, and my y-intercept was 125. So if I was to write that in words, I would say, DJ Dave, you earn $75 an hour plus an extra $125 for whatever, setup, initial work, whatever that is. Okay, we've done it. We've written the equation, but that's not the question. The question is, can they afford to have him play for 5 hours? So we are going to take this beautiful, gorgeous equation, and we are going to plug it in with a 5 for 5 hours, and we simply multiply. 75 times 5 hours is 325. plus that initial setup fee of $125 means DJ Dave is going to earn $500, and the student council just coincidentally has $500. So yippee skippy, Dave, you're hired. Okay, here we are at the bottom of page 146, and it's time for you to try it. It says, write a linear equation in slope-intercept form for the graph shown. I'm going to remind you that that form is y equals m, that's the slope, x plus b, that's the y-intercept. All right, I want you to go ahead and pause me while you do this and come back for checking. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out our y-intercept just because that's what they asked for first. Our graph is crossing the y-axis at 2. That is my y-intercept. Remember, this is your y-intercept. To figure out my rise over run, I'm going to pick this dot, and I'm going to pick this dot, and I'm going to count from 2 up to 5, which is 3. And then I'm going to count over from 0 to 4. That's your denominator. I'm going to look at it with my eyeballs and say, oh, that's already in simplest form. And I'm going to plug it in right there. Remember, this m was our slope. So y equals 3/4 x plus 2. Give yourself a star if you had it right. Fix it if you didn't. Okay, we are on page 147. This is example number 2. A saltwater solution is cooled to -6 degrees Celsius. During an experiment, the mixture is heated at a steady rate. Write an equation to represent the temperature y after x minutes. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a go. Looky there. That's definitely our y-intercept. Looky there. That's definitely our y-intercept. If it bothers you that our format is y equals mx plus b, and they have mx minus b, it's an easy fix. It just means you'd have a -6 instead of a -6. All right, let's do our rise and run. From -6 up to 0 gives me a 6 as a rise. Go over 3 for your run, and that gives me a slope of 2. So y equals either 2x minus 6 or 2x plus a -6. Those are equivalent. All right, example number 3 on page 147. So now we're going to go the other way. We've been practicing, if we're given a graph, can we write the equation? But the flip side of that is, if I have the equation, can I graph the line? The answer to that is absolutely. Okay, so let's just think about this pretty equation right here. Look at it, beautiful. If I think about this, my 3, that's my y-intercept. That is my starting point. So notice they started right there on the y-axis at 3. And then this is how I'm going to count it out. This is my slope. -4. Remember, that's a rise. Okay, well, technically it's a fall because it's a negative. Over, oh, there's that invisible run again. There's an invisible number 1. So they counted down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. They would count down 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. And they simply connected their dots. It's time for you to try it again. We are on page 147. The first one, you are writing an equation. Please remember that an equation is y equals mx plus b, where this is your y-intercept, where your graph crosses the axis, and that is the slope, rise over run. On b, you are now graphing it. Think about where it crosses and how are you going to count that out. So go ahead and pause me while you work and then come back for checking. All right, let's look at A. It looks like I'm crossing, oh, wrong one. Hold on. Let me undo that and get a pen. Okay, so it looks like I'm crossing the y-axis at the number 2. No jokes about that one, please. And then I am falling. Let me pick a dot right there. I am falling 1, 2, and running 4. Well, that can be put into simpler form. So if I do that in simplest form, I'll have -1/2 x, and my y-intercept is 2. That is my equation. All right, to graph this, -5, that's my starting point. So put a dot on -5. Your slope is right there. 1 rise and 3 run. So let me go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, make a dot. Up 1, over 1, 2, 3, make a dot. Connect your dots. Okay, we made it. We are on page 148. Here's our key concept. By far, the most important point on this is that the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. All right, your job at this point is to do page 148, the do you know, numbers 4 and 5, and there will be an answer key available for you.